What's happening, everyone? My name's Anthony Santana, and welcome back to The Letter. In the previous episode, Hannah started going insane. And, well, yeah. Anyways, I noticed a new relationship thing, so let's just check it. Which one was new? Well, looks like Luke is down low already. Almost halfway through with, ending this relationship, most likely. We're good with Marianne, with Zach, and everybody else is neutral. Okay. Well, that was worth looking at. Alright. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. Right. Okay, I remember. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today, of all days, is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. What is to come? The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. This is our house after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from Luxburn is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Ooh, nice. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances, who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Okay. Marianne and I discussed business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
You did good, Marianne.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. Yeah, we already know Luke is not one for kids. In the end, he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. Okay, see, that acquiesce seems to be in like the wrong tense. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Yeah, you may have jumped the gun there. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. I mean, that is considerate, very considerate. But making the room specifically that is a little jumping the gun. Besides, we have a little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
Well, yeah, relationships are give and take. No, I did not agree to him having a helipad. Aww. Might have been a little too much.
Alright then. Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whinge about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them really. Then why have the party? Or most of them at least. There are always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see.
Yeah, by giving you all the responsibility?
That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Well, let's hope that's true. Perhaps I am being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clever, with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow makes me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest, and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch.
Okay.
His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
A drinking wife? Huh. Usually it's either both or the man. That's new. Well, I mean, okay, never mind. Don't want to be biased there. It can happen.
But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am?
Yeah, you're married, aren't you? Maybe? Let's hope so. If not, Isabella's available.
Do you want me to be honest, or...
I don't know.
I don't know, Marianne. I just...
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea before she speaks. Let's hope that I don't know was actually a bit like sarcasm, like, I don't know, just say something. It doesn't really matter. And not, I don't know, what am I expecting you to say? I hope it's not that.
Perhaps it has been the years, perhaps not. It might just be the little things that have built up all this time. It might be something big. I wouldn't know all the details. But in any case, with things like these, I've seen couples take time apart just to cool off. Sometimes they get back together in the end with lighter hearts, and sometimes they don't get back together at all, but part on better terms.
Okay.
Speaking from experience, are we, Miss McCullough?
Well, we just figured her out. Well, that certainly got a rise out of her as her cheeks turn red, and she nearly chokes on her coffee.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. I ain't...
It's okay. Happens to the best of us. Sometimes.
I'm not interested in any fella, even. It's just a thing I've seen happen a few times.
What if I said the couple are very public figures? They wouldn't want to take time apart unless it was really necessary. They wouldn't want people to talk.
So very high class, I assume.
Well, that's a load of guff. Not to mention that makes them a bit thick, doesn't it? Forget about what other people say. That's their relationship and they should do what's best for them.
Very well said.
And if they point out that you're being a hypocrite and they can also disregard what you say?
Then that's their choice. I'm just saying that a break might do them good. A short time apart is better than someone trying to leg it out of the relationship or one ending up trying to murder the other out of frustration if they're even the slightest bit touched in the head.
Damn, is she talking from experience?
Because we don't want now, do we?
She trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. Well, that is some, pretty decent advice, actually. And to say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. I don't know if by choral anniversary that means like a number of years. I don't know. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. And at the same time, 7 years. Well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him, and I feel that there is still a part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will see some sense. There is a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure on how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies.
Alright, well at least she's making the effort of staying.
Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least.
No, jeez, no. Hannah, you're just gonna use her as distraction, aren't you?
If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Well, that is true, actually. That part, yeah.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Alright, well, looks like it's already time for the party, so that journal is just the conversation with Marianne. Okay. The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hire the service of a temp agency, which provides staff for Right Enterprises in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To peruse the stocks, to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails.
Well.
Snails are for the dishes.
A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they filled the air with idle chatter. Floral decor worth thousands fill vases, wreaths and baskets, while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. Oh, well that's nice. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate mousse. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not that fashionable. Fresh berries and light dusting of edible gold leaf. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all of this, I find myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking at all of this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
Well, if Luke doesn't show up to the party, then everyone will start talking. The entire thing screamed Luke Wright. And I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? Oh, is that her maiden name? I used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty. It wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me, just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. Not very many rich people do that, actually. Most of them just inherit their wealth. Others, well, there's the rare few. Start from the very bottom. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money, and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was a calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations, supervision of staff, and, well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy, to little things such as what we had for breakfast or whether we like cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? That kind of sounds like you got a downgrade. Like, it was you two got married mainly for his benefit. They told me that husbands preferred wives who are docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, you sure can. But I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
The guests have arrived, madam.
Hopefully not an hour early.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Of course.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't hurry.
Cars line up the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tourers, supercars, even the odd high-end muscle car or two, convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by valets. Or valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it's too troublesome to bring their own cars. Well, let's see it as they were thoughtful not to fill the entire parking lot. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxburn. So far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Please, make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we were experiencing before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society. Such as that young man with his oriental air. Okay, what is he doing there? Ah, that rhymed unintentionally. Ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike. Might be a bit underdressed there.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
We already know his name. But Hannah might not. What is she doing there? Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone while she looks unsure of why she is here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. Ah, well, he might have invited them. He talks to a few of the other media crew with an air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. And the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I had invited Father Norman, too. Wait. Okay, so Father Norman could be a mutual friend of Hannah and Zach's? It's the least I can do after he blessed the mansion on my request. Oh. Ah. Aside from my small donation to the church, of course. Okay, okay. But the poor man had taken ill, and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. Let's hope he was not cursed. And then there are people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see?
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies. It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
Well, society kind of says that.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
Well, he's jokingly doing his job.
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal. You've hidden his body.
Ha.
I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead.
Are you sure about that?
The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough.
Okay, so they're good friends.
I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
Jesus.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Now that's a joke.
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
Have I mentioned how I don't trust him, no matter how hard I tried to do so? At least he brought a gift, I suppose.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or how small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So, when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I am pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, when they are not any whatever, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. One of our hotel managers worry about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons. A failing in security which should be brought up to the higher authorities soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Plain and simple. Although, pretty disappointing, actually. Then, there's that rose-haired woman once again. It is hard not to notice her with her distinctive locks. She also lacks the grace the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes, instead, are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Oh, could Hannah possibly be going after her? Let's see, how is she? Well, she's actually one of the highest default standing characters with her. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach, intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her own attention, with the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Giving Elf some advice already, huh? That's one way to break the ice.
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
I mean, that does look nice. Definitely a bit underdressed for the party, but it does look nice nonetheless.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. Good job. He merely passes by, and it is a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Ooh. In all my life, I have never seen a face grow red so fast. Well, she does have feelings for him. We know that much. Also, nice view from above. I really like the view of that glass right there. Really shows the detail of the wine. Or whatever drink it is. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
And quick to jump.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
Are you sure about that?
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
Well, those are two extreme opposites, Hannah. You gotta... I don't know. I guess they both look the same.
It's more the latter, currently.
Ah, there we go.
Just don't go murdering him on my property.
Don't want any more hauntings, do we?
I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck, stand up. Ooh. Oh, I thought... Okay, for some strange reason I thought we went into Rose's perspective, but nope, I was off. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the... Oh wait, that's the same exact text, isn't it? Yeah, it's the same exact text. My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see a woman staring. That is nasty, though. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call the security at her when her mouth breaks out into a grin. Yep, nope, time to nope the fuck right out. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I am nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. Hiccup. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. Yeah, please don't. But then, in a blink, she's gone, and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
Okay, she noticed.
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
Huh. Is the name familiar? The name is familiar, like a fond memory. Ah. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor, who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. Really? She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
Whoa, wait, the professor! Rebecca! The Professor, Isabella, and Zach... wait, this is Zach? No, Isabella and Ash met. Really? That can't be... Is that the connection? We'll find out.
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way.
Okay, so completely different family.
But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
So they're about the same age then.
Yes, oh, I remember you. You were the cutest little thing with glasses. And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
Uh-oh. Wait, I think Isabella may have mentioned that Rebecca and Ash were like childhood friends, so could it be Ash?
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more I list off names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash!
Yep, so they were childhood friends.
That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And a tad bit sad. Well, that's agreeable.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
Let's hope so. Let's hope the curse doesn't get to her first.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
And I hope you're taking mental notes.
But what do I know?
There is a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually.
Close to 20.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
He can't take a hint, can he?
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then.
Ah, the tables have turned.
I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress or the pink blouse and the petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later. Talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good for the first time, or at that time, don't know where I got that part from. Enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moments as I mull over... Jeez, I can't read that. But all of that didn't matter in the moments as I mull over what she says, just said in my head... What? over what she's just said in my head. That is such a strange sentence. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. Oh boy. The music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can only be one person, or rather, one man. He better not be drunk. There is only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party?
He seems sober.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks. How they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that, if he is not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome one and all to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness.
A little too presumptuous, but it fits the theme, I guess, and also the fact that everybody's in this humongous mansion.
So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
There is a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. Oh wait, so that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Uh-oh. Oh, what? Wait, what? Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. Wait, what? This is, the chief's wife, right? And what is she doing pointing fingers at Luke? But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no chance but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although, it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. Oh boy. Okay, new journal entry, and it's about the party, and... Oh, okay, well we just got a spoiler from that very last line. Good job. How much has she imbibed in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here!
Such royalty, what accent does she have?
You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Yep, now you're the conversation of the entire city. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I am absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
Oh, geez, that's some harsh statement right there.
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass! You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
And the bills have been spilled. Wait, what? The beans have been spilled.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Yep, that's not gonna go well with the crowd.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman!
Well, of course he's gonna deny it.
Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
But then again, how can... He can't really prove that he's telling the truth, and neither can they prove that she's telling the truth. Only they can. And a lie detector.
No,
and a pregnancy
you
test.
Do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours.
So what, wife switch or something?
Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
Yes, she does.
Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
Once again, yes. It is now that Johans returns with security, along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol.
Yeah, definitely the alcohol.
Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There's no way that Rochelle says... Wait, there's no way that what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meeting are to be arranged, he won't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely won't promise responsibility over a child unless it can't be helped. Unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never. Yeah, Luke doesn't even want a child. He will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine, who am I kidding? If I'm to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that just make my blood boil? To even think of the slightest possibility of infidelity. Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. Oh yeah, that is true. It starts to make me think. Perhaps a break is needed. I need to worry for my happy ending. Okay, well. Options, options, options. How's the relationship doing? With Luke, it's already halfway gone. Okay, a break is needed. Screw it, go for it. Maybe Marianne had a point. And... okay, that definitely dropped Luke's relationship with her. Maybe Marianne had a point. If I am frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some time apart might be just what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and to think for ourselves, or for myself to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks as disturbed as I am by this sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it at any rate. Not surprising, as her parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey, I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there. Do we need to call a doctor or something?
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway.
Good girl, Becky, coming to the rescue.
Just... Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca, this is a real
What?
Oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I am to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'll say the odds are 1 out of 1,000. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I've met on separate occasions to know each other, in what will be complete random happenstance. What? It's just that it's been faked before, to try and dupe me because of who I am and who I am married to. But right now, coincidence or not, I am just grateful for the help. As long as this doesn't turn out into a kidnapping anyway.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did. So this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hana out of here?
So it is a kidnapping. I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make quick work of getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. We even make it out of the ballroom without any untoward incident. Though judging by the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need the fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is a good start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back into the ballroom. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I am gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Zach. Hannah, don't hit on him this time.
Yeah, you need something?
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you already got him scared from the last time. I can see the tension in the line of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is, when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional terms, certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue about the apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right away, at any rate. I know my curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
A beat.
I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Not sure what that word means.
Oh yeah, I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room. Or handling intense drama, you know. Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this. I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right? I get to pick the food too. Of course I make most of them myself. There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
Well, the usual for you. It's definitely not the usual for her. Two different lifestyles, two different, society hierarchy standings.
That sounds nice.
But she likes it.
Yeah. You sure you're alright? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
You can scream merde if you want. I won't snitch.
Is that supposed to be like a swear word in another language?
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and ugh! You know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
Damn, let it all out.
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
Sure won't.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance.
Sounds like a good time.
Not that I can, but there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or, that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
How should I respond? Let's just go with at least you can cook.
At least you can cook. Allegedly.
Oh, actually, that might have been a bit harsh.
You still bring no proof.
This party ain't exactly a potluck, is it?
True, true. Perhaps you can invite me to one of your simple parties.
She's definitely interested in Zach.
I will bring the cake.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, just don't make it like a 5-tiered cake. That might be overdoing it just a little bit.
But with a cake that big, like at your housewarming party, we'll be eating frosting for weeks.
Okay, he's welcoming that cake.
Maybe make it a little simpler and it's a deal.
Simple would be nice.
Alright, we're changing dates, and with that, I'm gonna end the episode. So, let's just check out the journal real quick. Read how much of a disaster the party was. Okay, so it's just the friendship between Zach and Hannah. And Rebecca. Alright, well, that's where I'm gonna end it. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.